So, a review of the rear seats of the 123 wagon. Now, there's multiple forms of these. Typically, the early ones were a solid bench before they went to the split 2/3, 1/3. Some had headrests, some didn't. And it was part of my restoration. I've changed interior car colour, so the seats have now been reskinned in black leather, and we're going to go through that. Seat belts, remounting, and fittings. So these are all back in now. All the fittings are up the top. And from the early promotional materials, you can see how there was a single bench variant and a split version like I have in my car. This is courtesy of a YouTube account. And you can see the split version here. So here's the original Palomino seats in the original brown wagon before it was silver green. And you can see after I've removed them, you know, some of the seat belt elastics are snapped. There's portions of trim missing. Overall, the skins weren't actually terrible. MB Text, as you know, never dies. And so I've ordered new leather from one of the more common aftermarket producers. I've got multiple sets off them before. I was quite disappointed with their service this time. They don't need a plug. I needed some plugs. There you go. 3 of the headrest ones on cue missing, and so luckily I had the donor wagon, and so I pulled these pieces off that because those things are no longer available. Preparation to get the seats sorted. Here's the German Auto Tops carpet set, which comes as overcut pieces of carpet in the velour for the back of the seats. For the base of the seats, they've sewn on the, it's still oversized, but they've sewn on the pattern. It's close, not 100% there, but I'll cut them some slack. It's interesting they put the seam on that, even though that's going to be covered up. So this is all looking good. Now, as I said, I'm missing the little holes for the thing. Now I'm very happy with myself because it's like one of the other seats. These are no longer available. And there's also the seatbelt holders. I pulled them off some other seats, so that makes me really happy to know I've got them. So when these ones are getting retrimmed, I will have them to put on because you cannot buy them anymore. I've also got all the other pieces, including the black plastic corners there, which makes me really happy because I was worried I was going to have to paint them, and they get cracked on the seats. So this is off the yellow donor car, which had a bench rather than the splits, but they must be the same. So there's one on each side, and they're identical pieces. Now, it wouldn't be hard to paint them, but it's just nice to have the originals. So I'm very happy to have hoarded, and we'll give them a clean up. They'll look fine. So you can see the pieces there. These are no longer available. They're no longer available. So the locking tabs, just push on them. The locking tabs are available and they're cheap. Now there's the rubber seatbelt holders. That's the bit that goes into the belt. This bit is actually just crimped on. I have some video of that elsewhere. As long as they're put on the right way. I can't fathom that they can go on the wrong way, can they? Driver's side or right side, and you see how they come up there just with a bit of auto sole. So just before the leather goes on, I don't want to put cleaner of this stuff on there. We're just going to polish them up so they come up looking a bit better. And you can see how they look the other set that I had, and for example I've polished the left one and not the right, and then both of them are done using auto sole and looking appropriate. So the leather skins for the complete car were good. I had a major problem with the armrest, but a good product that when fit looks nice. The trimmer has also padded out the foam. The middle bases are a bit different to the front seats and don't have the typical springs like that. So here's our leather. So you can see the headrest clips. I've polished up these as well. Leather looks great. And this is the carpet kits. The Australian ones had a security bar which joins up the two folding seats. These look great. Carpet's looking good. So you can see I've got the seatbelt clips ready to go. So again, I've polished them up. There's the safety bar screws for this Australian thing, which I'll get reveloured. I recall I'd polished them. I'll clean them up. I do have the new plastic clips ready to put on. I haven't put them on yet. There's the new carpet looking swish. And there we go. There's the verticals. And I've changed it now. I don't know that it made much difference, but anyway, it's been changed. Looks good. Springs are clean, not too much dust. And let's change this side, which is also looking a bit average. Bolts going through them. I'm going to pinpoint which ones they are in a little bit. Now, more difficult than that is on the inside of each side. You're going to see these in a sec. There is a larger diameter little nubbin and then a small one. And I'm going to show you these in a sec. They're the same on each side. The final bit, you can just see there a little silver bracket's going to go over. That's the outer side. You're going to see that you've got your adjustment bar here to allow the back to fold down. Now that's secured on the outside. That's all pretty straightforward. But this is where you can see the bracket here. This is not secured in yet. 1, 2, 3 bolts. I think are going to tie them both together. Now, those two little nubbins you saw, there's the larger one on top, and you can see it in there. It's the larger one's on top, smaller one on the inferior. Now, that lateral bit you saw, we've got to get the bracket, the L piece bracket. That's just going to sit passively over the seat piece before getting secured in, and I'm going to find the screws exact. So this is the bracket that's going to get secured here. Yet it's going to go over that piece of the seat you'll see in a second. And you can see at the lower end there, on there. So that's a pretty straightforward one to get on. Now, I think I've made an error with this bracket. I'm going to put in a nicer, cleaner one anyway. But I think there's supposed to be a plastic washer on the side of the leather to reduce the wear and tear on it. So I'm just actually going to insert that. And take this one out and then continue to put the bolts in, including the 210s in there. Now, putting the seat in is an easier two-man job, but you've got to line up the side that flips into that bar first, and then you can drop it gently down into the channel on the side. You can see how these two little pieces down here need to get lined up. So this one is going in there. The small one, I've got to get that in there. So the seat has to be shifted that way and then come back onto it. Yep. Come on, brother. There we go. Looking more promising. So, not secured, but that's slid down the channel. That's on the side. Now, I've got that on the other side. Here we go. You can see the pieces in there. I've got those 3, whatever they are, to go through there, which I'm hoping is going to yank them together a bit. There's still a bit of a gap between the seat here. I don't remember so much fresh air being there. The third and final 15mm bolt. Just put the seats up a little bit, just to give you a bit better room, and hopefully you can get that through there. I'm going to get a screwdriver just to level that a bit. You can see just in there. See, that's in there now. A little bit awkward, but it's in there. Now the trim pieces between the two verticals often snap and break. These are some I ordered online because mine were cracked, and I've painted them a flat black and they came up pretty well. You can see the two part numbers for the left and right sides. There's our part number for the right side ending in 0443. So how that's going to go on is that's going to cover the base. It's going to just gently slot. You can see the hooks. They're going downwards. There we go. And let's push it down. Click. Okay, so that's that one. I've pushed the lever and down it goes. Take a step back. So you can see there. So here's the part ending in 0343. Just been painted. I did satin on the inside and then I went over it with just matte on the outside. I didn't bother doing the inside again. So once again, let's put that down there. Just get it roughly lined up on this hole and that hole. Yeah, it's a bit tight. Now, is that clipped in? I think it has. Here we go, there's the two pieces that are on. So let's push that up. And they are now, they're actually a fair way removed. I think these seats need to be closer together. I'll work on that. Looking at the original car, this did look like a similar distance. These are all back in now. All the fittings are up the top. See the levers at the bottom are responsible. So here is the hinges with the 3 10s per side, and there's actually little cutouts in the foam base. To take the seats off, you simply slide them up. Now, when it comes down, the piece will go in there and you have to get the little hooks or claws over there when you wish to refit them. The seat belts themselves, I've just covered that up because I don't want that sullying the leather. I'm going to recover that. I think it was the 17 at the base, and there's a single over there. They face inwards. I had to check some brochure pictures. I would have thought it was the other way around. There is a part number on there, and they have the little rubbers in there. Now they snap and they need to be secured with the back of the seat off or the skins off. There's a little hook that the things latch onto, so you can see how they clip on there. So when the seat's up, you have the receptacles for the headrests, and there's new carpet on the back of these seats. To get the vertical down, I still need to push that, and that will stay down as it comes down. So here we go with the carpet on the rear. Now we'll talk about the Australian. We've got the security bar to go across there. I've polished up all of the fittings on the back, and you can see this is flush with the floor, which is what makes these so practical. There's these pieces that I've resprayed. So now we just need to put the belt at the base. Yeah. When you fit the seat belt bracket, make sure it's in front of that lever to the left and not to the right or on the wheel arch side, otherwise the carpet doesn't sit flush. So you can see here the safety bar fit for the baby seat. This was in the original car when I bought it, and I recovered this and it turned out really well, and so you'll see this in just a second. Now I don't have a free hand at the moment to do this, it's a bit awkward, but this piece here is going to go across there, And that's actually, I need to cut the other hole into it. That's actually to secure your baby seat, I've been told, and that's, I thought it was just an Australian safety thing to splint them together, but that's going across there. This piece here, I just revinyled the Palomino one. It's come out looking really good. There are part numbers on the end caps. The middle one's for your seat, and they just twist in. You've got the little plastic trim pieces here to a receptacle for the seat belt and the latch to go into. So I'm going to bring that back up. And much like the other side, there's just a seat belt. There's a 17 under there.